Hello everybody, and this is a very exciting video because we have finally gotten the new Taboo List from June of last year. It's been a long time, but we got a lot of changes and a lot of really cool changes as well. I think that this is one of my favorite taboos that we've seen. Everything makes sense, and I'm excited to build with, we'll see what comes with it, and then also see a few cards get, tuned down a little bit. And then also, I'm pretty proud, Travis, because we actually, in one of our videos about cards we wanted to see tabooed, one of them actually happened, as we suggested. It's crazy. Not saying that we had any influence on it. We're not that high and mighty of ourselves. But it's just cool to see that, our prediction turned out to be true. There's no Bryn today, it's just me and Travis, so we're just going to go through the cards. Maybe you have not seen the update and don't know what these taboo cards, the changes are. So we'll just go through and talk about them and kind of give our thoughts about how these cards can potentially change, and then also what we think of the general taboo. So let's dive in, and we start with, we have a bunch of chained and unchained. If you don't know what chained and unchained are, it just changes the XP cost, but not the level of the card. So first off, Machete is removed from the taboo list, and it's back to 0 XP. Yay, Machete.
Wow, yay.
It kind of makes sense, too, because the weapon is kind of, it's not as it once was, back in the early days.
Yeah, no, there's a lot more solid options now. It does still suffer a little bit from being repeated or an endless melee weapon. But what can you do?
Yeah. I saw a lot of posters say Lily Chen will be happy about this, and yes, Lily Chen will be very happy about a level 0 weapon she can take in Guardian.
Yeah, I'm also happy because I don't have to think quite so hard.
Yeah. Or don't do what I did and run knife that one time.
Yeah, that's not great.
Yeah, so it's just Machete did it. Good job, Machete. But now we're going to go to a pretty big change. And this is likely in, it's not likely if they actually wrote this online. It's in anticipation of a lot of the Doom cards we're going to be getting in the Scarlet Keys, but David Renfield is now chained to 3 experience. As the David, you use David a lot. We all do. But what do you think of the David change? Do you think that makes sense?
That's actually, it's kind of wild to me. Yeah. I can definitely support, he is a little bit good for a level 0 ally. But they've basically, what do you play to get resources? Mystic.
Yeah,
nothing. You have emergency cash and uncage the soul, and that's it.
Yeah, maybe we'll see another resource thing in Scarlet Keys, in anticipation. But yeah, the resources in Mystic took a huge hit with this change.
Yeah, even just something that's I don't know, man, a mini bruiser or something like that that only works on spells or some crap like that, level 1.
Yeah.
That might be neat, but if they don't print something else for economy, it's going to be some investigators going to be okay because you can rely on their secondary class or whatever. Luke gets access to the whole suite of yellow economy stuff. But other investigators like Kakachi are going to be hurting pretty bad.
Yeah.
And God forbid we have to play an alchemical transmutation, which is awful for several reasons.
Yeah. So for people who don't know, there's a card spoiled in Scarlet Keys called Sin Eater that allows you to remove Doom from something and ready it. And there's just a lot of things that I think 3 is a good. It's kind of wild, but it's also nice to like you said, we really need to see something else in economy to kind of make up for the hole David was filling, but we still haven't seen the rest of Scarlet Keys, so we'll see how that shapes out.
Yeah, still the fact that I got chained to 3 is absolutely insane to me. Kind of what other cards have gotten +3 experience? Higher Education did at one point. Drawing Pen does. That's
3's a lot.
A ton of XP.
Yeah. I'm gonna. Who knows? Maybe we'll see. David will follow the Mr. Rook route, and his lightning bolt will become an action one day.
Yeah, maybe.
Next one here. This one's a pretty. I've never played this card, and probably because it costs 2 experience. But Signum Crucis has been unchained to -2 XP, so it's now it's 0 to put it into your deck, which is a probably one of the biggest unchains we've seen in any Taboo list.
Yeah, this is. I think this is a good change. This card's. I might actually play it.
Yeah. I saw some people talking about this makes Blessed Silas kind of a thing, and it does. It does. Yeah. Like you could still have done it when it was level 2, but like now you have a reason to try it out because you don't need to pay for a card that doesn't feel like 2 experience worth.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's a simple one. We'll go on to the next 3 chained cards. Rite of Equilibrium also got a pretty big unchain here to only 3 XP now, so -2 experience. I've also never played this card, but you have played this card.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
I'm playing a lot of cards, man. I think this one feels better. It's, like, I understand why it was 5 experience initially. It's got a big swingy effect. But it's so hard to justify spending all that experience on it.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like it was kind of supposed to be the mystic way to get a big pile of curses into the bag.
Yeah.
And, but it was hard, like, to have your spells, both Eye of Chaos and Armageddon, be level 4, that's like 16 experience, and then have to, like, pile another 10 on top of it for this was, like, really kind of unattainable in a lot of cases. Even
for a mystic, which are like...
Yeah. Yeah, so this being a 3 it's nice.
Yeah, definitely.
It's nice.
This next one here, it didn't make sense to me at first, but then I realized why Jeremiah Kirby has gone up a bit. But Jeremiah Kirby is now a 2 experience ally, so he's no longer 0, 2 XP. What do you think of this one, Travis?
I think it's incredible that they would just, like, have a problem card like Sleight of Hand and then print a different version of it just the same way and then be like, wow, this is going to be a problem with some allies, huh? Incredible.
Yeah.
It's like, not only do you not learn from other games' mistakes, you don't even learn from your own. Yeah, like, I guess I'll just go back to playing with Dr. Milan all the time.
Yeah, I tweeted a picture of Scar digging his claws into Mufasa and saying long live the king, but it was Dr. Milan and Jeremiah Kirby, so I was pretty happy about that, because yeah, it's pretty much like, I liked Jeremiah Kirby. I thought he was fine at 0, but
I also thought he was fine at 0.
But with the Sleight of Man, it makes sense why they did, but who knows? I
mean, like, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if just, like, over the next year and a half we end up with Sleight of Man in, like, a similar place that Sleight of Hand is in.
That's Bryn's prediction, and I'm sure that's true. Yeah.
Like, you know, it doesn't line up the game. The same madness is like repeating the same thing and expecting different outcome.
But, you know, Arkham Horror is all about madness, so maybe we're growing into the next metaverse of this.
Yeah.
Next one here, Janae Borogard was chained to +2 XP, so she's now 5 experience. I think this is good. She's very strong, as we were just talking about on Wednesday.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. I think it can still warrant playing her at 5, because experience is not what it once was, right? Where 5 XP is like killer. I think she was just a bit much for because now Michael Lee's 5 experience, and we always would say like Michael Lee and Janae Borogard are like the same card, just like in different classes. So it's nice that I think that they match. That's good. Yeah.
A lot better that it's like more difficult to justify paying for Janae now if you aren't going to use both the book and the foot.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, definitely.
So.
All right, well, we are done with the chain cards, so now we're going to get to cards that have had they're mutated. Their text has been changed in exciting ways. These first 3 are actually all the same. And this card now reads a symbol instead of the list of indicated symbols. So you might be thinking, what the heck else is there? But there are cursed and blessed tokens, but also, for example, frost tokens are a symbol. So basically, it just opened up these cards in a way that, like, if they knew about, like, if, like, on day 1, if they knew about cursed and blessed tokens, they probably would have put them on for something like ritual candles, right?
It's not, these aren't so much like a mutation as they are just an update.
Yeah, it's kind of like, this is like close to an errata. It's like, you know, it's just like, hey, all symbols. I think it's great. Voice of Ra and Jewel of Aureolus are now huge pieces in like a blessed curse deck, right?
Yep.
Like Voice of Ra especially. It's like, that's so much potential money in a blessed curse deck.
Is this supposed to be my new economy things? I'm supposed to.
You know,
Instead of
if they
spending
had
6 experience.
if Mystic Economy was built around less generic good and more like around archetypes, maybe that would be better. But we still haven't seen that in other places, right? So can't say that yet. But yeah, I also do like the change to Ritual Candles. It's a very simple card, and now it just makes your Promise of Powers even better in a level 0 deck.
Yeah.
Just a -1 instead of a -2. Let's go. All right. Well, this trend keeps going for the next two cards. So Dark Prophecy, it now reads a non-Elder Sign symbol instead of the list of indicated symbols. And Counterspell also says non-auto-fail symbol instead of the list of indicated symbols. Just once again, keeping that going. Just keeping that update.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. And then we have a classic. Strange Solution, Acidic Ichor. Its fight ability now reads +1 damage instead of +2 damage. Wow.
Yeah, I think this change is actually like wildly out of touch. This would have made sense if they had added it to this, like, what, I don't know, 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
I do think some credence to this change, though, is that for a whole bunch of new players, they just got this card for the first time, right?
I guess. It's still like, this isn't the card you play when you want to do damage in yellow anymore.
But at the same time, too, it's not really, they're not really playing with the taboo list if they just got it. It is,
yeah.
I'm happy that it happened because, you know, I'm just like, but I also have not played Acidic Ichor since like a long time.
Yeah, see, I'm actually not happy about this because it gives me even less of a reason to play this over like Ancient Stone, Necronomicon, or Blood Rites.
Mm-hmm.
Like now, instead of like being like, oh, maybe I should play Strange Solution to deal with monsters, I'm like, why? It's just worse than the others now. So.
Well, now the plus side is if you run Strange Solution and you have your Shrewd Analysis, it hurts less if you don't roll this one. It just basically brought them all down, so it hurts less when you get like the resource and the healing one. That's not actually a good point. For
no, you're not making those ones better. You're just making it worse.
Yeah, no, I was just bringing because Bryn's not here. I was bringing in the Bryn counter argument. That's
okay.
Yeah, not really an argument, but more kind of just like a statement that twists the truth. All right,
it's a good way of putting it.
Let's keep this going. We got Mr. Rook. So he's no longer chained, so he's back to 0 experience. However, his Lightning Bolt ability is now an activate ability.
Yeah, good change.
Yeah, very good change. I think it's like, yeah, it's like a great change.
Yeah, I can play that stupid Hungering Blade Zoe deck if I want to again.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's just good. And then we have Flute of the Outer Gods. After I have shown its true power in a video that YouTube has not seen yet, it has lost its exceptional key ward and gains limit 1 per deck.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Like whatever. It's still probably gonna be bad. I'm not gonna play it, but whatever.
It's less notably bad. You no longer need to spend 8 experience if you want to build around it for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll throw together some kind of like purple curse deck to try at some point with all these changed cards, but.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still don't really know what it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, go back to Mr. Rook for a second. I think it's really, really weird that they had an ally that was too powerful because it didn't take an action to use its ability, and then they bumped it up, left it costing a bunch of experience, and then changed the Lightning Bolt to an action, but then they're just repeating the same pattern with David.
David, yeah. Yeah,
that's very odd to me. That's like, again, it kind of like didn't learn from our previous mistakes.
Yeah, no, I think that too. Like David definitely could have gotten the action thing at least to start there. Like maybe
Maybe there's a specific reason they didn't want that, but like I still think that's really weird.
Yeah. All right, on the next one here, the book, The Prophesy Profana. It's now just ignore the first attack of opportunity you take each turn.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I think that was, to me, the worst part of the card. How you could just ignore enemies.
Absolutely.
Now it's just a little bit less, just kind of ridiculous to me. All right.
Yeah, it is more in line with like actual 5 experience cards now.
Yeah, yeah. Black Market simply gains, this card gains max once per round. Seems like a fair trade-off, so like, because chaining
Yeah,
black
it's like
markets is a little bit wild.
yeah, so there's kind of like one of those things that they forgot to print on the card.
Yeah, yeah. Eon Charts, level 1 and level 4, now reads following basic actions instead of following actions, so you cannot use an investigate action on like a flashlight or an investigate, like card in your hand. So it's just now basic actions for it.
I think that's a nice way of toning down the power level.
Agreed. I like the
Making
change a
it,
lot.
yeah, it's basically just extra actions now instead of being an abusable card engine.
Yes, yeah. The only downside is it
Abusable
kills that
action
sick ass
function.
Bob deck that I loved, but it's still, you can still just invest. You could just still do basic actions. You don't need to like go bonkers with it. Just take the free actions, baby. They're there for you.
Yeah.
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 And the thing that everyone was clamoring for, the Cyclopean Hammer taboo, which this card now reads, if you succeed by 3 or more, you may exhaust Cyclopean Hammer to instead deal +2 damage, and then you may move the enemy up to 2 locations away from you. The change for this is that you can still attack for 2 damage each turn, but you can't do... You basically, like, if you have 3 swings at it, you no longer can deal 9 damage. You can deal 7 damage, which doesn't sound like a big number, like a big change, but it does mean that probably for when it comes to like killing bosses, having the big guns is gonna just have a better kill, like more damage output. So is that a good change enough? I don't know. It's hard to see because it still deals small enemies, but it is, I think, a more interesting change than just chaining it.
Yeah, I'm happy they didn't just change it, but at the end of it is still like a very boring card, I think.
Oh yeah, I'm probably only gonna play it if I want to try hard still, but
yeah, maybe if they had like tied the brain boost to succeeding by 3 or more.
Mm-hmm.
Like have that be like you could fight just like fist for +1 damage or whatever, or fist +1 or something, or +2. And then you could have like a second action, sort of like have the Time Worn brand where you add your brain to it, and if you succeed by 3 or more.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Now we're going to go to the first of 2 investigator changes. Mandy Thompson. This investigator now reads deck size 50. Deck building requirements do not count towards deck size. 3 copies of occult evidence. You no longer get to choose your deck size for Mandy. You are forced into a 50-card deck when you're playing with the Taboo List.
That's good. They're just helping people have more fun.
No, that's exactly what I thought too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because like it has a slight change where your deck is less consistent at doing crazy things or cycles less, but you do get more occult evidences, and you also just get to do more things and have more fun, right? Because your first Mandy deck was 50 cards, and you still did great, but you had fun doing it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I still think she's going to be very strong because card selection at her level and 5 book is also like really good. It's just more fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, good change.
All right, and our last changes here for Lola Hayes. It's been done. She has been buffed. Lola's forced ability is now moved to the reverse side, and her instead should read additional setup. After you draw your opening hand, choose a roll. Lola's front side additionally gains activate, switch rolls, and does not provoke attacks of opportunity. This means that she has, in addition to the lightning bolt ability, she can do a less efficient activate ability to switch her rolls. So you still get your 1 free switch, but you also can just activate to switch. However, the big change here is Crisis of Identity has been absolutely like nerfed. It's kind of crazy how much softer it is, as it rightfully probably should have been from the beginning. This card's revelation ability now reads discard 1 card in your hand or play area of your current roll, and then follow through with the original text where you discard the top card of your deck and switch to that roll.
Yeah, it's good changes. Like the most frustrating things about playing Lola, in my opinion at least, were you couldn't do the things you wanted to in your turn because you couldn't switch roles consistently enough, which they have fixed.
Mm-hmm.
And also you're just like living in dread of having your board exploded by Crisis of Identity, which also Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, like Crisis of Identity has been, you're right, it has been absolutely gutted.
yes.
Like,
Yeah.
you can discard a card in your hand.
Yep. Yeah.
That's like, man, it's like almost nothing now.
Yeah, it is. It's just basically two weaknesses. There is a chance that Crisis of Identity could hit you at the wrong time still. Like there's a chance. But
Yeah, it could get you if you're like in Mystic and you have your combat spell and you don't have a purple card in your hand. You're like, oh no.
yeah, but like it's still pretty minor, and I think it's actually like better for Lola because when it's all said and done, she's still gonna be a jack of all trades, master of none. She has 3s across the board, right? You have to work very hard to get there good. The plus now is that you're no longer, if you get there, there's not just like a nuclear bomb in your deck waiting to like kill you.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm excited to play with her with this. I still think she's gonna fit a good spot where like she's jankier. The Johnnies are gonna love her. The Spikes are gonna be like, I'll play it for a laugh once, right? I think she's still gonna live in that good space. Just actually fun to play. More fun to play.
Yeah, that's pretty fair.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the taboo list. That's all of them. Lots of good changes. I like a lot of the stuff that we have here, and it's just nice to get it. It's just nice to get it.
It's nice to know that someone still cares about the game.
Yeah. So hopefully you also are excited about the taboo list. You can let us know in the comments of what cards you are most excited about seeing the changes for the taboo list. I imagine a lot of people are going to say Lola. That makes sense. I personally am really excited about the Mandy change. That's really fun. And there was one more that I liked, but I obviously didn't like it enough to remember it in my brain. I just like when like cards are chained and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be honest, like the Mandy change literally doesn't matter to me because that's how I just play her.
Yeah. No, exactly. And like I think it's just now everyone's just on that same level of not doing anything crazy bonkers, but just get to play a bunch of fun cards because you have to put 50 cards in your deck.
Yeah, I take this as a solidification that Fantasy Flight Games acknowledges that my version of fun is the correct one.
That's very apt. That's a good thing to take away from this. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you guys very soon for another exciting Arkham Horror video. Otherwise, have a good one, and as always, GG's.